I'm just going to make this a quick video just of how important it is that the Brooklyn Nets not only come out this year with attitude, with good play, and they actually come out playing focused because of the fact that the Eastern Conference now just got a hell of a lot harder because of the huge trade that just went down today between the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Utah Jazz, where now Donovan Mitchell is going to be playing his games down over there in Ohio and Cleveland with the Cavs' young roster that they have already assembled together, including Darius Garland, Evan Mobley, Jared Allen, and Karis LeVert. You throw in Donovan Mitchell now. The Cleveland Cavaliers have all of a sudden become a team to worry about in the East, along with the Chicago Bulls and the roster they have together with a returning Lonzo Ball, as well as Nikola Vucevic, DeMar DeRozan, and a newly re-signed Zach LaVine. You got the Milwaukee Bucks out there right now with the roster they have put together. Obviously with Giannis, Middleton, Holiday. You have Portis coming back. You have Lopez still there. You still have DiVincenzo. You have Grayson Allen. That team is deep. You got to watch out for them. Miami, we know how good Miami is. They were the number one season last year for a reason, with guys like Ben Adebayo, who's just going to get better at the center position, Jimmy Butler, who is one of the most gritty and clutch players out there, Tyler Hero, Kyle Lowry is good, Duncan Robinson. That team is loaded right now. Boston, obviously, they're already arguably the best team in the Eastern Conference right now, with the fact that they have Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Robert Williams. Now they bring in a Brogdon. This team is loaded beyond belief with Derek White as well. The Eastern Conference is a loaded conference right now with a lot of good, top-heavy teams. I can't even forget about the Toronto Raptors. Shout out to my guy, Next Shift Randy, big Toronto Raptors fan over there. The Raptors even got a really good young roster with Gary Trent Jr., Pascal Siakam, and of course, the Rookie of the Year, Scotty Barnes. There's a lot of good young teams in the Eastern Conference, and the Nets have got to come out. They can't screw around. They cannot deal with injuries. After the tumultuous offseason they've had, there's going to be a hell of a lot of competition this year for that Eastern Conference and who's going to represent the Eastern Conference for the NBA this year. The Nets have to come out firing on all cylinders. They have to make sure they stay healthy. They have to make sure they shoot consistently. They have to make sure the drama, the issues, everything that was a problem with this team last year, it stays to the background. It is in vital importance for the Brooklyn Nets. Joe Harris needs to come back healthy and play effective at the three-point line. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Ben Simmons, they have to stay healthy and they have to contribute to the level we expect them to be. Seth Curry has got to be a sharpshooter from behind the line. Nick Claxton's got to be able to continue to evolve his game as one of the better young centers in the NBA. Ty Warren has got to come back from a 2-year stint when he was dealing with injuries and be a key sixth man off the bench. Patty Mills has got to be a solid point guard off the bench. Need more development from some of our young players like Cam Thomas, Deron Sharp, David Duke Jr., Kessler Edwards, Adonis Williams. These guys have got to come in and give them Nets at least some solid minutes. Some maybe even more than that if they're going to be asked and tasked for more of a higher role. Obviously now you're bringing a Markieff Morris and a Yuta Wannabe. These guys are going to be tasked to be key players in that front court for the Brooklyn Nets. So the Nets, with how difficult the Eastern Conference is going to be this year, the Nets have got to come out firing on all cylinders, come out with poise. I can't forget about the Philadelphia 76ers too, with a guy like Joel Embiid, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, Maurice Thybulle. That team has got players over there too. It's a loaded Eastern Conference. This is not going to be easy. I know the Nets at least were able to improve their team so far. But especially after this trade that the Cleveland Cavaliers made, they are instantly going to be a team that's going to be vaulted up towards the top of the Eastern Conference, and they're young. They have a core that is not only very talented, they're young. And they're going to be a team that's going to be a big-time threat now in that Eastern Conference to represent that conference going forward. So the Nets have got to come out. They've got to stay healthy. They've got to be poised, put the distractions off to the side, and this team needs to come out and come out quick out of the gate and cannot come out sluggish like they have a couple of times before. They need to keep these guys healthy, and they need to show that they are still one of the premier teams in the Eastern Conference. It is of utmost importance because of how good the Eastern Conference is right now, how deep it is right now. And I did not even mention the Atlanta Hawks, who are a team that acquired one of the best young players in terms of a defensive wing, and Dejounte Murray, who's going to be teaming up now with Trae Young in the guard position, and you still have John Collins there. That's another team that is a threat in that conference. The Eastern Conference is a big-time crapshoot right now, and the Nets cannot deal with the type of distractions they had the past couple of years. They have got to come out firing on all cylinders. They have got to come out like a team ready to compete. They have got to come out not dealing with the BS they've had to deal with the past couple of years because of how deep this conference is. They cannot deal with distractions. They cannot deal with injuries. They cannot deal with the problems they had the past couple of years, because if they do that this year, they will sink. They will sink, plain and simple. Because they could have gotten away with it when the conference wasn't as strong as it is now. But now, with Boston, pretty much the same team as they were last year, and probably even got stronger, included by bringing in Malcolm Brogdon. Philadelphia is still a very good team. Toronto is young, with good young talent there. Miami is the number 1 seed for a reason. They're still a threat. Cleveland just got a hell of a lot better. Atlanta is a good team. Chicago has a very solid roster. The Nets screw around. It's a possibility they could be a 6th, 7th seeded team this year if they continue to go about what they had issues with the past couple of years. This team has to come out, be focused, stay healthy, and they need to come out of the gates as quick as possible, because if they do not, they are going to be a team that is going to be stuck in that middling part of the Eastern Conference. And we know what happens when you have a good team, but you're stuck in the middle of that conference. It's going to be a lot more difficult to make it to where you would like to go, because you want to get home court advantage and be there in front of your home fans. And maybe the past couple of years, the Nets could have gotten away with a little bit of a slower start and dealt with injuries. They need to come out hot at the beginning of the gate. Otherwise, it's going to be a very troubling sign for this team going forward. And especially after the BS that us Nets fans had to go through this offseason, and the fact that this team is capable of still representing the Eastern Conference and winning an NBA championship with the roster they have assembled right now, there's no excuses now. This is it. This is the year. Even as difficult as the Eastern Conference is right now, the Nets have to get it done this year. They have to go out there. They have to perform. They need their key players to stay healthy, get rid of the stupid drama, put it to the side, and go out there and represent for this team going forward. It's vital that the Brooklyn Nets go out there and they play to the level that they are capable of playing to. Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving have got to be playing like the superstars that we know they can be. Ben Simmons has got to get out of his own way with his with his issues that he's been dealing with mentally and physically, and get back to maybe not 100%, but get pretty close to the level he was in terms of his defensive play for the Nets. Joe Harris, Patty Mills, Seth Curry have got to be those guys. They're going to be those three-point shooters on the outside, those sharpshooters we need. We need the development of our young players like Nicholas Claxton, Deron Sharp, Cam Thomas, David Duke Jr., Kessler Edwards, Adonis Williams have got to be young players that could show us something for this team and give us productive minutes when they're out there on the floor, and maybe more if needed be. Markieff Morris has got to be that leader, that tough-nosed, nasty leader that we need in this team. Yuta Wannabe has got to be that player that can give us effective minutes in the front court. Ty Warren and Edward Sumner and Edmund Sumner have got to give us also some solid minutes off the bench, especially Warren. And maybe he had to be counted on as that guy that could maybe not give us the 20 points per game he had in the bubble, but give us solid scoring minutes coming off the bench if he's 100% healthy. I'm expecting big things from the Nets now. There's no more excuses. 3 years with this team of excuses, with drama, injuries, issues backstage, issues off the court. Enough. This is the year. This is the year the Nets have got to go out there and they got to show the NBA, and especially to their fan base, they are still one of the teams to beat in the Eastern Conference and in the NBA. Put the noise to the side. The talking's got to stop. With how difficult this Eastern Conference is right now, with 6 or 7 teams that are very good and all could possibly be representing the Eastern Conference this year, the Nets have got to come out hot at the gate. They've got to play well, stay healthy, and most importantly, keep the drama and the off the court stuff to the side if they really want to be in the position that us Nets fans and NBA officials think they can be. So that's just my video I wanted to give you guys today. If you like this video, please hit the like button below. Subscribe if you haven't already to NYG JeffyT 3285 for more breaking news, updates, and chatter surrounding the Brooklyn Nets, as well as the New York Giants, New York Mets, WWE Wrestling, and food for thought. Turn on the bell for notifications on the next video or short is going to be dropping on the channel. And I want to know in the comment section if you guys feel the same about how important it is for the Brooklyn Nets to keep the off-the-court drama off to the side, and how vital this season is for this team, but how strong the Eastern Conference is, and the fact they have to get out of the gate very quick if they want to have a shot at being a team that can represent the Eastern Conference because of how difficult this conference is now compared to what it was a couple of years ago. So I thank you very much, everybody. I hope you all enjoy your Friday, TGI Friday, everyone. And let's go, Brooklyn Nets. NetsWorld, everybody.